If you're caring for patients with an Impella device, it's really important to know which each one of these waveforms actually mean in the information it's providing you on the placement screen of the AIC console. For today's video, I'm going to be focusing on left-sided Impella devices. So this is going to be like your Impella 5.5 or your Impella CP. From the placement screen on the console, the very first waveform that I want to cover is the AO placement signal, or the red waveform. This waveform is going to be measured by the fiber optic sensor, which is near the outlet cage of the Impella, which sits in the ascending aorta. Because this pressure is measured in the aorta, that means that the waveform itself is going to have an aortic waveform morphology. This signal pretty much gives us information on the location of the fiber optic sensor in relation to the aortic valve. When the Impella device is in proper position, the fiber optic sensor as well as the outlet cage is going to be outside of the aortic valve, sitting in the ascending aorta. If for some reason the Impella device is in an improper position, such as it's being too far in, so now the fiber optic sensor as well as the outlet cage is now in the left ventricle, we are going to see a very different waveform. The waveform on the AO placement signal is going to become ventricularized, meaning that it's going to take on a ventricular waveform, similar to what you would see with the LV placement signal or the white waveform that you see on the console screen. Now, if you do see the AO placement signal waveform become ventricularized, this is when you're going to want to look at the motor current waveform, or the green waveform. If the Impella has, in fact, migrated into the left ventricle, where the outlet cage is now into the left ventricle, then the motor current is going to be non-pulsatile and flat. And you're going to have some alarms on the Impella console as well, saying that, hey, this is not in the proper position. The other thing that I think is really important to know about the AO placement signal is that sometimes you are not going to have a pulsatile waveform, even if the Impella device is in the proper position. And I'll get into that in a whole different video because it's really important to understand that concept. The very last thing that I want to say about the AO waveform is that even though this is an aortic waveform and we have a generated numerical pressure on the screen, we cannot use this value to titrate vasoactive medications. You really need to titrate or wean your vasoactive medications utilizing a non-invasive blood pressure cuff, or even better and preferably, honestly, for a patient that has an Impella device, would be an arterial line. All right, we'll go over the next two waveforms, which is going to be the LV placement waveform as well as the motor current in another video. So stick around and I will see you in the next video.